Hi YouTube family, welcome back to Charmaine's Kitchen. If you're new to the channel, I want to give you a warm welcome and a big hug. Easter is coming up in 2 weeks and I have some of my viewers who are asking me to share a cross buns recipe with them. And my kids are in for cross buns at any time. So today I'm going to be sharing a cross buns recipe, and for all those who are going to be preparing one for Easter, you can start getting your ingredients up after seeing how I'm preparing this one. I will be making one more cross buns recipe closer to Easter, but this is just to fulfill those requests. So come on down and let's make an early cross buns recipe. I hope your day is going well. It is beautiful and sunny here in Ontario, and the day is looking very nice and promising, and I feel like bake up a storm. So come on down with me. So starting with the all-purpose flour, I'm gonna leave all the measurement and ingredients I'm using today in the description box below. I have some warm milk here. I have 1 egg, I have some raisins, I have here some cinnamon powder. Today I'm going to be using some mixed spices. This is the first time I'm using the mixed spices in my cross buns, but when I check the ingredients, they have some very nice spices in here. I'm going to tell you what they have. They have cinnamon, allspice, ginger, and they have clove. And when I measure it, I had this nice, beautiful scent of clove, and clove will go very nice in here. So I think those spices will work very good for this recipe. I have some brown sugar. I'm going to be freshly grating some nutmeg in there. I have some melted butter. I'm using 1 pack of instant yeast. And today I'm going to be using some dates puree. Instead of dates puree, you can use some of the raisin and you can puree some to add to this recipe. I'm going to be chopping these up to make them a little bit finer in the recipe. So let's start putting everything together. So I'm going to go ahead and add all my dry ingredients together. That's my cinnamon. Add the mixed spice. I really like the smell of this one. And then I'm going in with some grated nutmeg. Nutmeg make all the baking smell so good and taste so delicious. And we're gonna go in with our yeast. And this is the instant yeast. If you're using regular yeast, you will have to give it about 10 minutes to activate nicely in some warm milk or water and a little bit of brown sugar. But today I'm using the instant yeast. We're gonna nicely whisk all the spices into the flour and the yeast. So I'm gonna go in and add my pureed dates into the milk. I want to really mix it in well, so when I knead my dough, it's gonna be incorporated nicely into the dough. I'm gonna blend my egg into the mixture. You can just whisk it with your hand and then add it to the dry ingredients, but since I'm mixing with my blender, I'm just gonna mix the egg in there as well. Since I'm blending, I'm just gonna add my sugar to the wet ingredients and mix it up to melt up those sugar crystals. So now that I have all my wet ingredients prepared, I'm gonna chop up these raisins. We want to have nice pieces into our cross buns and not have big whole raisins in there. I'm just gonna finely chop it up until I have a nice texture. You can do it. So now I'm gonna go in and add my chopped up raisin into the dry ingredients so we can mix it up well. So I'm gonna add my melted butter into the wet ingredients. We're gonna give this a mix. So this is sugar, egg, milk, and our dates puree. Dates puree also give a nice sweetness, so that's why I didn't add a lot of sugar into mine. So wet ingredients is going in, and I'm gonna be mixing this with my hands. So I'm adding and then I'm mixing, adding and mixing. We want a nice firm and sticky kind of dough. And if you notice, the color already look brown and nice. So at this point here, I'm gonna go in with my hand and knead this to form all my ingredients together. Dried, wet, everything together. Smells good with that mixed spice. So I finished kneading my dough, nice and beautiful. If you look, you can see that there's raisins. It smells nice. What I'm gonna do now is let my dough sit. You can let your dough sit for at least 1 hour. I'm gonna let mine sit until I take a nap and come back. You wanna cover your dough nice and tight so it can get to rest and double in size. So I'm gonna cover it down with a tea towel. You can leave it in a nice warm place, and I knead mine today with my hands just to show you the simplest way that you can do it. If you have a mixer, you can also do the mixture in a mixer and it can be faster, but doing it with your hands, it doesn't take too much time at all. So today was a sunny day, but a very cold and windy one. As you can see, it is nice and sunny from the inside, but when we came out of church, we had little pebbles of snow came down and it was freezing cold. When I got home, it was very, very windy. It looks nice right now, but I think it is cold, just showing what today looked like, but it is a little bit deceiving. I know we're heading for good weather. Spring is coming soon and I'm very excited for that. So it's gonna be time to set my seeds to grow my vegetable garden soon, and I can't wait. I'm just thinking about all the beautiful greenery I'm gonna have in my backyard in a few months. For us to go ahead and check on our dough for the cross buns. Come on down and let's check on it. So I try to cover it down tightly so it can rest properly. And let's see what we have here. Oh, nice. Nice. It expands a little. I leave it a little bit over an hour. You can leave it for an hour or more. The longer, the better. I'm going to go in now. It smells really, really nice. And that raisin smell you can get in there is beautiful. So time to roll this baby off. See, I'm gonna add some flour on the counter. After kneading the dough a little, I'm gonna roll it off to a nice long log, and then I'm gonna cut small pieces to make my dough balls. So now we're gonna cut the dough. I'm just gonna take off a little tip here so we can make our cross with these ends. And then I'm gonna make them as big as this. Nolly, that's big enough, or you guys like when they're bigger?
That's good.
That's a good size.
So everybody can get.
Yeah. So we're gonna make them this size here. And this batch here is supposed to give us 8 to 10. I'm gonna nicely roll these pieces into little dough balls, just like this. I nicely lined the bottom of a baking dish with some parchment paper. You can also grease a pan before adding your little dough ball in them. Look how nice and raisiny these are looking. The smell is amazing. You know that it's gonna taste beautiful. So now we're gonna make the cross with the end pieces that we cut off for the top of our cross buns. Let me know in the comment what you guys like to eat your cross buns with. Do you like to have it with milk, warm milk, cold milk, Milo, tea? What do you like to have your cross buns with? So for the top, we don't need like a big piece, just a nice little cross on the top. I'm just rolling off pieces of the dough to make the cross on top. You just want to tuck down the little pieces on the side so when they bake, they will stay in place. Let me know in the comment what you like to have your cross buns with. Cold milk, warm milk, tea, Milo. Let me know. I am excited to know what you guys like to eat your cross buns with. So about 10-15 minutes I rest the dough. I'm gonna wait until my oven warm up to 350 degrees, and then I will put them in there for about 30 to 35 minutes, and I'll show you the finished product. You can make a glaze to brush them when they're done, so you can have a sticky version on the finish. You can leave them as it is and still enjoy them. I'm just gonna rub some butter on mine and have them with a nice buttery finish. So my cross buns are finished. I'm gonna go ahead and brush them with some butter. You will see a big difference, how nice and shiny they will look. Like I mentioned earlier, you can make a glaze to put it on, but I don't want to make it too sweet. So now I'm just applying my butter on top, and they smell really nice. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. And as you can see that they're baked nicely, that this one is moving. Let me check on the bottom and see what it looks like. Perfectly. Look at that. Nice and beautiful. The ones with the butter have a beautiful shiny looking glaze on top. You can add a sweet glaze, or you can skip the sweet glaze and just rub the butter like I'm doing today. I have more recipe with cross buns. I did glaze for some of them. This one today, I'm not adding any glaze. And I'm gonna let it cool off a bit before I go in for a nice bite of one of these. So let me show you this one here. They're hot. Look at that. Beautifully done. Nice color. They look shiny. And I can't wait to go in there. Let me know what you like to have yours with. So now it's time for me to dig in for one of these cross buns. When it's Easter, I'm so excited because there are so many good things to prepare and to share and to enjoy. So here it is, my friends, my beautiful freshly made cross buns. I'm gonna have some cheese with mine. You can have butter, jam, anything of your choice. You can have it on its own like that because it's already flavorful. Remember, I wanna remind everyone, cross buns is not a tennis roll with raisins inside. Cross buns is a bun. It's a little bit more solid. It have raisins in there and a lot of spices, whereas tennis roll with raisins and a cross on top is not the cross buns. And I want to remind everyone, please do not use your Christmas fruits that soak in alcohol to make this cross buns. It's not the right recipe. Cross buns is not made with fruits that soaked in alcohol. I know some people will say that essence or the vanilla extract is made with alcohol. That's why I didn't use any in my recipe, because I didn't have a non-alcohol version in my kitchen. When I have a non-alcohol version, I use non-alcohol essence for my recipe. So please remember those little tips for cross buns. So I'm gonna look for the biggest one. I think this is the biggest one on my plate. And I'm gonna go in nicely for a piece like that. It must have this kind of look inside. It must be nice and raisiny and brown with all those spices and everything. And it must have like layers and layers in there like that. This is what a cross buns is. So I'm gonna have piece without anything to have the full nice cross buns flavor. And this piece goes to all the viewers. Just reminds me of Christmas. This is my first bite, and if you guys ask Natalie, it is so good. How many you had, Natalie? She had 2.
Yeah, 2.
Right? So you can see the raisins in there. And the dates that I use, it's all mixed into the mixture. So all we can do is taste it right now. They have a nice raisiny, spicy kind of flavor. And now I learned from Sister Shenna and Riza to have a piece of cheese with my cross buns, and I'm gonna go in because the flavor of a little bit of salty and sweet really goes nice. Cheers. So delicious. I skipped the glaze for mine because I don't want it to be overpoweringly sweet. This goes very nice with a nice cup of warm milk, Milo, or tea. I'm gonna have mine with some Milo. I want to thank you all so much for baking cross buns with me. And I want to say to you all, I hope you will try this recipe. For all my friends who were asking for cross buns, I hope you'll give the recipe a try. I also have to share it on Facebook because there's a few people who asked for it as well. Until then, I want to say thank you all so much. Have a blessed day. Sending hugs, love, and kisses. May God bless you. Catch you guys in my next video.